Esta es una cobertura especial de Noticieros Televisa y Foro TV por el paso del huracán Patricia. Categoría 5, ya ha entrado por la costa del Pacífico y se dirige hacia el centro del país. La Secretaría de Comunicaciones y Transportes dio a conocer esta imagen a través de redes sociales. Compara el arribo del huracán Katrina en 2005 por el Golfo de México con el de Patricia en el Océano Pacífico. Ambos categoría 5 en la escala Saffir-Simpson, pero Patricia se aprecia con una extensión mayor. Es extremadamente peligroso. Catalogado como el más poderoso de la historia, con vientos de más de 300 kilómetros por hora. Nos han tuiteado para pedir que volvamos a mandar esta imagen comparativa. Fíjese que la Secretaría de Comunicaciones y Transportes, le platicábamos hace un momento, dio a conocer esta imagen a través de redes sociales. A la izquierda, el arribo del huracán Katrina que Noticieros Televisa cubrió en 2005, devastador el paso del Golfo de México y cómo afectó Luisiana y Mississippi. Bueno, y a la derecha, el fenómeno del día de hoy, el huracán Patricia, Pacífico Mexicano del 2015. Ambos categoría 5, la máxima de la escala Saffir-Simpson, pero con Patricia se extiende el fenómeno, es extremadamente peligroso, el más poderoso de la historia. Esta es una imagen real de satélite del huracán Patricia. Y necesitamos decirle esto, sobre todo para que tome precauciones. Este fenómeno tiene vientos de más de 300 kilómetros por hora.
Hurricane Patricia batters the western Pacific coast of Mexico with winds of over 200 kilometers an hour. Now downgraded to a Category 4 storm, forecasters warn it could still wreak catastrophic damage. After trying to find a political solution to the Syrian conflict in Austria, John Kerry is now in Jordan. The US Secretary of State will meet Mahmoud Abbas later this Saturday in a bid to end 3 weeks of violence between Israelis and Palestinians. And the French president calls it an immense tragedy. 43 people are killed in the country's worst road traffic accident in 30 years. We report from the village where most of the dead lived. Hello and welcome back to the France 24 newsroom here in Paris. I'm Thomas Waterhouse. First, Patricia tears down trees, upturns cars and forces thousands from their homes. What was the strongest hurricane ever recorded in the Western Hemisphere made landfall a few hours ago on Mexico's Pacific coast. Authorities warn of torrential rains, mudslides and flash floods, but the hurricane's now been downgraded to Category 4.
A state of emergency on the Pacific coast of Mexico as Category 5 Hurricane Patricia slams into the country hours after it peaked as the strongest storm ever recorded in the Americas. Residents and tourists are evacuated before Patricia made landfall, with winds hitting nearly 300 kilometers per hour.
Ravi de vous retrouver. À la une masse vorace vue du ciel. Patricia semble immobile, mais sur la côte pacifique du Mexique, l'ouragan a déboulé avec des pointes de vent à 325 km/h. Le drame pouvait-il être évité? Une collision entre un bus et un camion sur une route de Gironde a fait hier 43 morts. La France est en deuil. Malgré ces paroles, les bombes pleuvent. L'ONU a 70 ans. L'organisation oscille entre échec et succès. Le Palais des Nations à Genève est ouvert aujourd'hui au public. Bienvenue à tous. Pas encore de bilan, mais la nuit sur la côte pacifique mexicaine subit les foudres de Patricia, drôle de nom pour un ouragan que les autorités décrivent comme surpuissant. Stéphane Leroyer.
L'œil du cyclone serait à 95 km d'ici, la ville de Manzanillo, comme une partie de la côte pacifique du Mexique, frappée par des vents à plus de 270 km par heure. L'ouragan Patricia, qui met tout le Mexique en état d'alerte, serait le pire que le pays n'ait jamais connu, selon les autorités.
Ce que j'ai à faire maintenant, c'est d'acheter de la nourriture, des bougies, tout ce qu'on peut, parce que parfois il y a des coupures d'électricité.
À Puerto Vallarta, une station balnéaire très prisée des Américains, près de 3000 touristes ont été évacués. Mais celles et ceux qui sont toujours sur place ont été autorisés à revenir dans les hôtels. Toujours classé en catégorie 5, le niveau maximal, l'ouragan aurait faibli ces dernières heures. Il touche actuellement 4 États mexicains côté Pacifique, dont le Colima et le Jalisco. Ces derniers jours, dans cette région, plusieurs ports, des écoles et les commerces sont fermés. Beaucoup d'habitants ont également été déplacés vers l'intérieur des terres.
Il est très probable que cet ouragan soit le plus fort que l'on ait eu dans cette région du Pacifique depuis 1949.
Les États-Unis et le Venezuela proposent leur aide au Mexique. Les pluies diluviennes qui touchent les régions frappées par l'ouragan font craindre actuellement des inondations et glissements de terrain pour les prochains jours.
Hello. Within the past few hours, Huracán Patricia, one of the most powerful storms ever recorded, has hit the Pacific coast of Mexico. Officials have warned of potentially catastrophic damage. It made landfall at Playa Perula on Mexico's western coast. Seen here from the International Space Station, the giant weather system was a Category 5 storm. But in the past few minutes, it's been downgraded to Category 4 as it starts to weaken. Residents in some coastal areas have been evacuated, homes and businesses have been boarded up, and airports are closed. The Mexican President Enrique Peña Nieto has said that the country was facing a storm unlike any other. He'd said, Huracán Patricia is already on the coast of Mexico. Do not go out. Stay safe and follow instructions provided by Protección Civil. I'm looking out for you. The federal police were also using social media to show the effects of Patricia. Officers said it was important for people to follow their advice, find shelter, and not let their guard down. And the US President Barack Obama said, our thoughts are with the Mexican people. USA disaster experts are on the ground and ready to help. Well, earlier, my colleague Helen Willits from the BBC Weather Centre explained how the storm will take time to cross Mexico as it weakens.
They grade the scale of the storms on their wind speed. It's driven by the strength of the wind. So it will have passed below the threshold now of a Category 5. Of course, it maintained its Category 5 then for quite some time, actually 3 or 4 hours before it's been downgraded. But actually the size of the storm, even though the winds have abated a little bit, it's because they've been interacting with all the mountains and the buildings. It will slow it down, just like friction when you roll a ball along a rough surface, it will slow down. So it's that sort of effect, but the storm's just as big, and it's still got all that moisture to dump effectively on Mexico, unfortunately, and it will just keep raining now. Lots of moisture. That's going to be the main concern. Even still at Category 4, that's still winds in excess of 200 kilometres an hour. That is a real force if you come into contact with that sort of wind speed. It's still very violent, very destructive. It's the same sort of wind speed that Copu hit the Philippines with last weekend.
And Jonathan Lake, they're saying about the possibility of 50 centimetres, 500 millimetres of rain in a very short period.
Yeah, it's an immense amount of rain, isn't it? It's really difficult to imagine half a metre of rain falling, and then the accumulative effect of that all running down the sides of the mountains and then funneling into a channel. And so obviously you get far deeper rains at the bottom and potentially hitting villages. It is a very significant amount of rain which obviously can't all be absorbed. The ground just cannot absorb all that. And where it does, there's a real risk that we'll see those landslides and mudslides, unfortunately, that go hand in hand, unfortunately, with these storms.
So what next for the weather system? Where's it heading?
Northeastwards, so it's heading across Mexico. What it's also doing, it's really quite interesting meteorologically, but unfortunately not for the people that live there, but it's throwing lots of energy towards the Gulf of Mexico. So you've got a warm, moist feed of southeasterly winds coming off the Gulf of Mexico into the southern states, and we're seeing flooding rains in the likes of Texas. Of course, it's the Grand Prix there this weekend, and we've already seen that practice has been hampered, and that will continue. Its energy is all drifting northeastward, so it's likely to cause or precipitate some flooding across southern states of the USA as well through this weekend, as well as obviously continuing to rain where it is. But fortunately it's moving through. It's not like Copu across the Philippines last week, which just stayed put for 3 or 4 days. This one again is going to give it a lot of rain, but hopefully keep moving through.
And it gets less and less powerful as it goes over land, so
absolutely.
hopefully as it drifts further north, that'll be...
So the winds will decrease quite rapidly now that it's moving over the lands and the mountains, but it's still got all that moisture to get rid of. So it's been sitting out on, on a very warm, moist source of air, if you like, over the Pacific. And so it's got all that to get rid of, and as it gets lifted over the mountains, it will give us more. So yeah, we have got another day or two of rain to come from this system yet.